into the frying pan early. Um, you know, one of the concerns as coaches we have is when we face a little bit of adversity. You know, where will this football team turn to it? I'm not saying anything I haven't told these guys. When you face adversity and we overcome the adversity, all questions will be answered. And that's the biggest thing right now. Learning if we can, because it's going to be tough. We may get down that game. We may get down 2 touchdowns. But we have to face adversity. And if these young men can be resilient and play through it, and we come out with a victory, then all the questions will be answered. I know for me as a head coach.
Coach, clearly any success that you're going to have is predicated on the guy that's sitting next to you. And you said here this time last year and told us that you thought that Homer Kazi was as good as any quarterback in the nation. Well, clearly he wasn't last year, but what have you seen in his growth after a year of experience being under this program that we can expect those lofty aspirations to come true this season?
Well, first of all, I can say I recruited Homer Kazi. I went in his house and sat down with his family and recruited him. My thought process still doesn't change about Homer Kazi. Homer Kazi, if you go back and look at the numbers, the young man as a freshman, should I say, he was a redshirt freshman last year. So he still has time to grow, and he will be not the best, one of the best quarterbacks in this conference, but one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. You know, when you can find a young man that can make all the throws and can run and pass and do all that, now we have the weapons to put around him where he doesn't feel he has to win the game by himself. And I played that position, so sometimes you feel like that. But now we have the defensive unit where they can make good stops for us, special teams, and we have the weapons around him. You know, our biggest concern is staying healthy, you know, as well. We got to stay healthy. You know, we do not have a team full of depth at each position, but we're going to play the hand that we were dealt, and I feel very comfortable with Homer Kazi at the quarterback position.
Well, speaking of weapons, can you kind of illuminate a little bit more? I know Fred is back at the wide receiver position. Who are some people that we think will enable Homer to make plays and we can see as being playmakers from an offensive standpoint?
Well, I think our offensive line has much improved talent up front. We're very athletic now up front. We made some adjustments, and that's where it starts on offense. We also have Malik Cross back healthy. Our running back, Davion Porter's back healthy. He was down with an injury last year. We also have Larry Clark back, a freshman who made some tremendous plays for us as a true freshman. You know, if you look at it, we played a lot of young guys last year. So those guys have gained a lot of experience on both sides of the football. And then we brought some guys in, some transfers and 2-year junior college guys. And we just add those guys to the mix, and, you know, we're going to put our best foot forward.
Coach, speaking about experience in defense, you have some experienced cornerbacks, Thomas and Trey Walker. Can you elaborate a little bit more on your secondary?
I think a secondary right now, between our secondary and our linebacker core, is our strength to this program, this football team, defensively. Those guys, I feel comfortable with them playing whether it's man or zone. And like I tell them all the time, we just stay focused and play within the defensive philosophy, and we don't get out and do the things that we think is right. Stick to what we put you in. I feel very comfortable that our defense, you know, will be the backbone of this football team.
What makes Brandon Thompson special?
He's a good football player. First of all, he's a great student on and off the field. Anytime you can find a young man that can matriculate through the academics at Texas Southern and then transfer it to the football field, I think that's a plus for us. He's a student of the game. He's always studying his film, knowing and reading his keys, getting the guys lined up in the right position. And, you know, he's almost like a linebacker in the defensive back position.
Homer, going back to what Coach was just talking about, did you feel that a lot of your issues from last season came from trying to do too much?
At times, yes. This year I'll be able to put my trust in a lot of my other receiving teammates, Larry Clark, Fred Plummer, Lee Cross.
How tough was last season for you guys? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Tough, basically because we were taking L's. Some games we should have won. Some games we was in, we lost it toward the end. We're gonna be ready this year.
How do you guys feel about the new talent coming in and what's it do for you guys? And
You
then,
said, can you repeat it?
how do you guys feel for the new talent coming in, and then what does it do for you as a team on your?
We just want to get better every day, week in and week out, and then let our hard work pay off on Saturday.
Coach, this question is for you. When you take a look at the Western Division, they have, the champions in the conference have come the last 2 years, UAPB, year before last year, first year, and then last year, the Resilience of Southern. Can you talk to the level of competition just in the West alone? You have UAPB, you have Purview, and then, of course, defending champion Southern and Coach Dawson with the young team. Talk about the competitive balance just within the West of the conference alone.
Well, I think the teams that you're talking about now have a great foundation. And, you know, and we talk about that as an offensive staff and a defensive unit and a coaching staff. Those programs have had a foundation athletic-wise that has been in place for quite some time. You know, we preach to these young men about building pride and tradition here at Texas Southern. And I think that once we understand that as a program, when you can get the foundation right, you know, those championships that everybody want to win it's almost like, you know, when you get off that bus, you know you're supposed to win. So, you know, really those guys have a great foundation. I have a lot of respect for those programs and their coaching staff.
Brandon, for you, how much progress does this team need to make within the next week before your overtime?
You know, we've been in camp for a while, so if you haven't had a lot of progress by now, then it just won't happen, you know. So I think for the most part, we just, you know, it's more mental for us over the next week of camp. You know, it's not as far as physical, because physically we have, you know, the talent and the people there. It's just mentally getting lined up, knowing our assignments.
Coach, how important is it for your defense to get off to a certain standard to lead the team to where they're trying to, I'm saying all of you, where you're trying to go? We saw what happened last year with Southern. As the season went on, their defense got stronger and stronger, and they were playing at championship level before they even got there. And I was curious about the defense and how important is it for them to get off to a strong start this year?
But it's always very important that your defense get off to a strong start. And I'll tell you something that I told the guys on the offensive side of the ball. If you look at the last 4 conference games we had, I think we may have lost about a total of 21, 27 points, 24 points. That means we're playing pretty good defense. And offensively, like I told the offensive staff and the players, we need to pick it up offensively. And I just need our defense to pick up where they left off from and get better out the gate, set the tempo, set the tone from the first snap to the last snap. Set the tone. You got to, I was about to say, tell my D-line to line up and jump outside and set the tone early, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to give up 5 yards that fast. But it's very important for us to set the tone early. And I feel real comfortable and feel good about our defense. And like I told offense, we just need to pick it up.
This question for Homer. As a leader, as a quarterback, who are some of the guys that you developed that chemistry and rapport with in this, you know, all season, spring ball, going into training camp? Do you expect some big things this year going into the season?
Like I said, Larry Clark, Fred Plum, Malik Cross. Expect some things from Tracy Johnson and Chris Carter. Steve Carpenter. I'm sorry, Steve Carpenter.
For Brandon and Trey, defensive backs, it's a high-scoring conference, and it starts off with Mr. Lovelock from Purview. What must you guys do to contain them? They've been averaging, dropping 35, 40. I think they put 50 points on both Southern and Stephen F. Austin. What must you guys do, having seen them for a couple of years, in order to combat them and give your offense a chance to stay in the game?
First of all, we just got to come out and, stop the run. That's first of all. We believe in our defense, well enough that nothing is going to go deep. So therefore, we just got to come out and play hard, play Tiger football, come out, be tough, physical. Like Brandon said, we got to be mental. We got to take every down, one down, get these 3 and outs, and then, our defense could be on the level that we need to be on.
How important is tackling? Because they run a lot of spread, a lot of short stuff that one missed tackle can, instead of a 5-yard gain, now they've got a big play.
Well, tackling is very important. It's going to take more than one guy. It's going to be all 11 guys to the ball at every time. At all time. We have to be disciplined, form tackling, wrap up.
Amir, would you like to answer that question as well?
Every day since camp started, our defensive coordinator, Coach White, we do tackling drills every single day. Like, obviously, that's what football starts for, tackling and blocking. So, I believe you get in, you get out what you put in, and we've been working on it every day since we got back to work. So, just see if this how it works, but it's going to pay off.
Brandon, not being able to win at home last season, how much does that weigh on a team to not be able to maybe take care of some business at home? And is it a point of emphasis for you guys this coming season?
It really is. It really puts the fire inside of you, because playing this stadium for 2 years, and one win, it puts that fire in. It brings energy. You have that automatic spark that you need to win at home, and you need to put a show on for the people in your school and everyone else that supports you.
Coach, this is for you specifically, but all the players also. What's been the aura, the atmosphere in training camp? How's it?
It's been great.
Well,
I tell you, I was this is probably the most, I tell the guys this, and this is the most I've talked to Dr. McCullough in I don't know how long. We've been on the phone, off the phone. These kids have been very resilient. It's been hot, and we've decided now to pull back. We're still in 2 days, but we'll go inside, do a walkthrough, and then we'll go outside to get on the field. And I can tell you they may grumble amongst each other, but I don't hear any complaining. They understand what's at stake this year. I left the building last night, and I walked by 3 of my players, and when you have 3 guys that have been together and they start correcting each other, when I first got here, when that happened, I didn't like the tone and the vibe, but now when I hear them correcting each other, our rule is we don't mind stepping on each other's toes, and we're starting to do that now, and that means we're headed in the right direction.
Can I get the players' comments on that same thing too?
Tempo and aggression.
Well, as seniors, this year, it's very important to us, so we take it very serious. We try to let the young guys know that this is our last shot out the door, and they have many more to come. We playing our hearts out for them as far, just like we want them to play for us. So we try to work hard during camp because we know it carries over into the season.
Trey, you want to answer that one?
Yes, camp it's been very exciting. Like, we go out every day, we put our hard work in. We have fun out there. This is what we do, this is what we love. We go out there every day, put our hearts in it, put our effort, and just hopefully August 31st, we just wait to see the results.
What's been the hardest thing in training camp so far?
Nothing.
About the 7 o'clock breakfast, we gotta get up early in the morning. It's not really hard. It's by far been, the easiest camp I had in 4 years. Hopefully, I feel as if it's a good start for us.
Yeah, I heard that, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you just said it was easy, Coach.
Yeah, I heard that, Coach.
Coach, what have you fellows who have been with you all this time. Charles talked about you guys making sacrifices with the program as a coach, but from a player standpoint, they've been with you. What have you told these young fellows who've been with you all this time?
I told them thank you. I really appreciate the effort. Because a lot of these guys, when these sanctions came down, they could have left. And they wrote it out with us. They said, Coach, if you're going to stay, we're going to stay. And I told them, I'm not going anywhere. They're going to have to run me off. And even if the doc tried to run me off, I'm going to hide in this closet and I ain't going nowhere. But these guys have really hung in there. And I think now is the time that it's really going to pay off and show and give our fans, especially at home, to give that atmosphere of what winning really feels like inside our stadium.
Coach, if you could describe your team this year, how would you describe it? And some of the players could answer the same question.
Just going through camp and watching off-season workouts. 2 years ago this time, you know, there was a lot of complaining. I had to stand over a lot of people to make sure that, you know, these guys were where they were supposed to be, fussing, and now they're pretty much policing themselves now. You know, that the rules have changed with the NCAA where, you know, we can watch them work out for the course of the summer. So when I go down and I see what's going on, I don't have to complain. I ask the question, where is such and such? Why he's not here? These young men have learned now. In the past, if they don't come, they just don't call, don't say anything. But now they pick up the phone, they coach running late, 2 or 3 minutes late. And that's taking responsibility and showing that the program is going in the right direction where they understand, to me as the head coach, that that's important. They understand that football now, you know, it's a purpose of why we're here.
I'm sorry, what I meant is like to a person who wants, you're trying to sell me to buy some tickets. How would you describe your team? High-powered offense, dominant defense, how would you describe your team?
Well, I can answer that for you. Now we're talking. Well, now we're talking. I can't sell some tickets. With this group of guys, ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest shows that you would witness in 2014 football season. If you want to see a show, if you want to see a very exciting show with a bunch of young men that fly around to the football on defense, and one of the greatest shows on offense that you'll see, and one of the best special teams in the country that you'll see, you come out and you watch Texas Southern University football this year. You guys will be surprised, but we won't, because it's been a long time coming. And we finally built this thing where we want it to be. We're still one more good recruiting class away. And, you know, Dr. McCullough has made the challenge to these young men about their first game, and we're going to move forward. So I'm very excited. We pray that you all come out and support the young men. Support them. These guys have been through a lot. And any negative talk, bring it to me. Cheer these guys on, because they have a point to prove right now. That's right, guys?
Yes, sir. I know the Labor Day Classic is it's historical for Houston, but and I know that press conference is going to come soon enough, and then the trash talking will be there. But has it already started?
Yeah, I spoke with Coach Northern this morning on the way to work. He said he didn't want to answer the phone because every time he talked to me, something bad happens over there with his football team. But you know, this is like I told these guys. You know, it's for who's the best HBCU in Texas. You know, some of the alumni, the older group of guys, this is bragging rights year round. For this football team, it's going to be physical. It's going to be one of the most violent football games that's probably going to be played on that day. And these young men know that some of us, they're willing to sacrifice whatever it takes to win this football game. We talk about it in practice all the time. It's a violent game. So you have to give up something to get something.
No better way to get started, I guess, huh?
Correct.
All right, before we wrap things up, we're going to ask Coach Asbury. Coach, if you would please introduce your student athletes on the front 2 rows as well as your coaching staff.
Okay, I'll start with, from my left, our returning offensive lineman center who already has his degree, Marvin Holly. My running back, Davion Porter. Fred Plummer, who already has his degree. Jarvis Moore, my linebacker. One of our transfers, Derek Lyles, who we brought in from Gulf Coast Community College. My all-conference kicker, Corey Carter. My transfer, Darren Claiborne. My strong safety, Tevin Wilcox, who already has his degree. Malik Cross, who was here with us last year, plays wide receiver for us. Of course, everybody, Trey Walker, Brandon Thomas, Homer Kazi, and Amir all-conference Bloom, who will get what's the sack record that I told you I want? All right. All right. Coach Vike, I want that sack record. All right. My coaching staff, just had an opportunity to get the paperwork signed today. Coach Byron Brown, who was with me at Shaw University on that 07-08 championship team, who's now been moved to my offensive coordinator, associate head coach. Cedric Thornton, my linebackers coach. Gino, offensive assistant. Big Robbie Hens, Robbie Hurst. Robbie Hurst, who last time we were together in the Reliance Stadium when we beat Prairie View, Mr. Robbie Hurst. All right, my running back, Coach Lewis Tillman. My defensive coordinator, Coach Vike, man with the plan. Coach David Geralds, our defensive line coach, and my assistant head coach, offensive line coach, Coach Carl Roberts. And that's my coaching staff.